Hi everyone, welcome back to Nelson Math Chapter 6, Section 10, dividing by two-digit numbers. We're starting with a very easy one to review what division means. So 15 divided by 5, you all know to be 3. That's not really a big issue, but it's why it equals 3 that's very important for this section. We could look at this question in two completely different ways. We could look at this section as saying, start off with 15 counters, and put them in groups of size 5. So right here, I put a blue bar underneath these 5. So that's one group of 5. That's another group of 5. And that's another group of 5. So you could see I have my three groups of 5. So that's one way of looking at it. I have three groups. So the answer is 3. Why is it 3? Because I took my 15, I made groups of this size, and I have three groups. But that's only one way of looking at it. I could look at it as saying, I have 15 counters, but what if I put them into 5 groups? How many would go into each group? So let's do that now. I'm going to physically move them because you have to absolutely understand this part for the bigger numbers to make any sense. So let's do this. I'm going to put them equally in all of these groups. And I'm doing this one at a time so I don't get lost. And now I'm out of counters, and I can see that for each of my 5 groups, they fit neatly 3 to a group. So you must understand these two different definitions because they're both valid. Sometimes it's easier to see this question as 15 and divided by 3, meaning 15, and make groups of 5, like this model, or 15 divided by 5 as meaning 15 and make 5 groups, which means 3 in a group. This model is 3 groups of 5. This model is 5 groups of 3. Yes, they both bring us to 15 divided by 5 equals 3. I'm just making sure you for sure know, you absolutely know what these two different models mean when we do division. We're now going to be doing one right here. Let's see if we can figure out what this means. I've written it this way for it to be clearer. This question's asking 1044 divided by 12. In other words, it's asking how many times can you take 1044 and put it into 12 groups? How many go into each group? Or it could mean how many times could you put 12 into 1044? And once again, in other words, how many times could you fit this number into this number? You could make a chart. You could say, well, 12 goes in here once, 24 goes in here twice, 36 goes in here 3 times. That would be valid, but you're going to be in here a while. So what we're trying to find is what I have right here. 12 times something equals 1044. Let's try a few different numbers. 12 times 100 is 1200. That's too big. We have definitely fewer than 100 times that 12 can go into 1044. 12 times 90 is 1080. That's slightly too big. We're looking at 1044, but we're over by a little bit too much. Let's try 12 times 80. That's 960. So yes, we can put 1080 in there. Or rather, we could put an 80 in there. So if we did this, this means we could put for sure at least the number 12 into the number 1044 80 times. But once we put it in 80 times, we no longer have to keep adding that same number in. So 12 times 80 is 960. And now we can subtract the 960 from the 1044. This gives us 84. So now we have to find out how many times does 12 go into 84. We've already done how many times does 12 go into 960. That's 80. We figured that out by saying 12 times 80. But now we have to figure how many times does 12 go into 84, because that's what's left over. So is it 12 times 1? Is it 12 times 2? Is it 12 times 3? Eventually, you're going to come to the realization we could put it in 7 times. So if we put it in 7 times, we put the 12 into 960 80 times, and now the 12 into 84 7 times. And that brings us to 87 times can 12 go into 1044, because we have now, once we put it in 7 more times, we've used all of this 84. So we have put this in 87 times right there. And once again, we can check if this is correct by doing 12 times 87 using our fact families. And 12 times 87 is in fact 1044. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.